I know Raymond. Rita. I know Rita. He always never forgot Rita. That was his girl. And I just want you to know that each one of you meant the world to him. There's little tokens around the house, little Christmas ornaments that you've given him, pictures, just things that that he cherished and that he thought a lot of. There's another thing I wanted to tell you. Perry is rejoicing today. He is in heaven. He was saved. A lot of people didn't know that, but he was. And that keeps me holding on each day. I never expected him to go. He was never sick. He was never unhealthy, Mr. Healthy. It was always on me. No, you cannot drink that soda. We've got to mix this up. Have you taken your vitamins a day? Are you drinking your water? So those things, that he always took care of me. And I just want to say that I appreciate each one of you for your kind thoughts and your prayers for our family at this time. And that in our own way, we loved each one of you. Thank you.
This was really lovely, and we really appreciate it. You know, Dad's wishes were no memorial. I think a lot of that had to do with the fact that Dad was raised Catholic, and he knew that that was going to be a point of contention. But we did give permission for this to happen, and I'm glad that we did. The thing that makes me laugh is Dad would have hated every second of it, all of it, which just means that it was lovely, and we appreciate it. You know, he would have much rather there be dancing and lights and it be filled more like a rave, and that was his thing. We have our own personal little disco at home that he had set up for weekends, so that was a real thing. And the DJ thing was also real. He made sure my sister and I knew it all our lives. I have a very good music background from the 30s to present. So. But if there's any other questions about the crazy stories he told, and if they're real, I know there's hundreds of them. And I don't know about the mafia. But I would not be surprised if that
He was a debt collector for a chicken fighting ring.
Oh,
No,
yeah, that was true.
Okay.
That was true.
He's debt collector.
When we went to the Philippines, we actually went to the chicken fighting world contest there in Peking.
They were so outrageous, we thought he was making them up, but we loved it, you
He was
know.
also military police in the Philippines, so if he told you anything about, beating people up, that was
Yeah.
probably true as well. Yeah. So.
And the story about when he climbed a tree and watched the political coup go down.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, that
That
was
was
true.
one of my
Yeah.
favorites. He just hung out in the
He
tree
told you
while
all the truth. Everything they're
he
saying
hung out
is
in the tree
true.
for hours watching this political coup happen.
But he told it in a better way.
Yeah, we always thought he was just making it up to make us happy, but
He told me he met Bruce Lee.
He did meet Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee came to his karate. It's not karate, I'm sorry. Roll over for that.
he did Tai Chi a lot.
Where he was at, he did come there, and Bruce Lee, he did meet Bruce Lee, but not like, hi, how are you? It was more in passing.
He saw him in
Maybe 3 or 4 rows back.
Oh, and one name Mom didn't mention that we heard all the time, I don't know if he's still with the company, but Marty.
Marty.
Oh,
Marty's here.
Oh, my dad loved Back to the Future, so and we had several sets of trilogies that we watched once every year, and Marty McFly was one I heard a lot.
You got that a lot. Marty.
What
about the Ice Factory?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that was an attempt. And he did do that.
Yeah.
And it lasted for about 4 years. And Japan came into those waters of where that was at, and they could not no longer do it.
Yeah.
Keep it up, so they had a problem.
There was
thought that was a lot.
That was his retirement plan. That's
Oh,
what
he had a few.
He was on the fast track to retirement.
I don't know if any of you were around, when he was into Zango, that juice, that purple juice in the fancy bottles, he sold the
Mangosteen.
mangosteen, Zango, whatever. Oh my goodness, that was one too. So.
Is there anyone else that wants to say anything? Oh, sure, Gina.
Hello. I'm a PRN. Some of you have met me, some of you never knew me or met me. But anyway, some of you I've told before that Perry and I, we both came from the same town in the Philippines. We lived there, but of course we know each other from college, and that's when I learned he lived in the same town. And Perry is a very funny man. He's a class clown, and he would sit in the back all the time. And our poor classmate sitting beside him, he already picked on him. But it's all good, good jokes, good things, or whatever. So I'm gonna read a eulogy. His name is Adamil, and his last name starts with an S. And Perry is P, so they sit together in the back, and our professors always kind of like points at him, at Perry, because Perry's like, that's Adamil. But I will read a eulogy from Adamil, and I'm sorry if my voice is kind of, all our voices shake because of, But anyway, he says, dear friends, I call you friends, for any friend of Perry will also be a friend. For Perry is my friend. Perry's influence in my life has been so profound that I am so saddened that his earthly life has been extinguished so early that my fervent wish in seeing him again all these years will never come to fruition. He lives in Florida, and Perry and I, you did, right? You all lived in Florida for a little bit there, and I remember Pam inviting us to a reunion in Florida, and I remember Perry and I talked, why don't we sail to Florida? But it never happened, because I worked in a different agency at that time, and so hard to get time off. And he continued, it would have been a joyous occasion to laugh at each other's memorable moments when we were younger as college mates, reminiscing endless nonsensical banter, mindless wit, mixed with profound musings of our future hopes and dreams. If ever there is a resource person on relationships, Perry is the man. My go-to person as I embarked on my so-called coming-of-age phase of my young life. I learned a lot from the great Perry. Wink, wink, right? To my dear friend Perry, thank you for giving me a great resource of wisdom that I carried with me and still carry to this day. I promise I will not argue with the good Lord for taking you first, but I won't be surprised that he took you to steer something up in heaven. I believe that. Whatever that is, I'm so willfully annoyed and grossly irritated that I am not part of it. Well, tell me all about it when my turn is up. I bet it will be wonderful. And finally, as I always say, the thing that will really be so infuriating is that when we finally get our turn to come up, all the family and friends who passed before me will all have one thing to say, and that is, what took you so long? I can almost hear your voice asking that. My answer is, I am not lucky. From your dear friend, Adamil. And another one is from Eleanor, and she's also a classmate of ours. And this is what she said. She said that here's her piece, keeping the family in our thoughts and prayers. She said, shock, disbelief, followed by immense sense of loss and sadness. Those were the feelings I had upon hearing of Perry's passing through a class group text. Within minutes, the class had sprung into action, and they said, we're doing this for Perry, it's for Perry. Many of us kept saying. Needing to do something, I dug up 2 photos I had back in college. I'm gonna make you a copy of those photos. Next to the photos shared by the family, Perry wore the same impish expression. He does, doesn't he? That's how I remember him. He sat behind me, and I would hear him crack jokes or side comments during lectures. Just funny, innocent comments, never mean-spirited. If you happen to have a bad day, Perry's the guy to turn your frown upside down. Looking at my 40-year-old photo next to the photo shared by the family, Perry wore, I already said that. 2 years he was part of our class, not long one would say, but clearly enough to have an impact on us all. Rest now, classmate. You brought so much joy and will be missed. And that's from Eleanor. And the other one is from Pam. She said, I will always remember Perry as one of the boys in our physical therapy class in college in Manila. They were all good buddies, Toby, Carlo, June, and Ernie. You met them all, right? They had group studies together, hang out, and had fun together. Perry was always the life of the group and a comedian. I remember him saying to me that when he tells jokes and no one else thinks it's funny, I would be the only one that would laugh. Perry always had a smile on his face and can easily turn to your bad mood into a better one. He always had a joke to brighten your day. Perry was a dear friend. My family and I had the opportunity to spend some time with him and to spend when they lived in Florida. My son played with Sarah and Amy as kids. I have witnessed how Perry was a good husband and father. He was loving and sweet. Teresa, Sarah, and Amy, may you hold close to your hearts your fondest memories of Perry to help you through this very difficult time. I would like to share a quote from Helen Keller. What we have once enjoyed, we can never lose. All that we love deeply becomes a part of us. That was a good one. Perry, I will miss your funny jokes. You have a special place in my heart, my friend, until we meet and love again. And that's from Pam. She lives in Pennsylvania now. As for me, Perry and I, we never, when he came over here, it took 15 years before we got together and saw each other again. And we both live in Beckley. But again, he worked in a different agency, I worked in a different agency. So we never really, Teresa was always the one I talked to, or sometimes we kind of called each other or something like that. But then, you get married and all that, have babies, and then forget everybody. When I started with Kindred, he was so nice to me. He really took care of me. Every evening after work, he would text me, send me a text, and he would say, Gina, are you done with your patients? I would say, yeah. And are you okay? And I would say, of course. And he said, he always tells me, if you have difficult patients, give them to me. And I said, I can't do that because of the location. It's different, And he said, I can talk to Renee. That's his, he always tells me that. I can talk to Renee. I'll tell him, I can have that patient. I said, okay, but I never did. I never shared the patient to him because I felt like, okay, you have your own patients too. I can do that. But I always think that he always took care of me because he always checked on me. He's always worried about me. And I was like, Perry, stop! I'm a grown woman. But he always talks about on weekends. He would text me. I don't know if you know, but he would text me. He would always talk about family. It's always family. It's about you, Teresa, all the time. And you know, I kind of see a different Perry at that time because I felt that when he was a classmate, he was just a class clown. You know, always joking. Everything is fine and dandy and all that. But being a husband, a father, you know, it just changed my thinking about him. He became a mature person, you know, in front of me. And I miss him so much. I was so shocked when Amber sent me a text about what's going on with him. I really didn't know. Last time we talked to each other was New Year. He greeted me Happy New Year, that's it. I was busy packing our things. We were moving at the time. So I was really shocked, and I still couldn't believe it, and I cried and cried. I never stopped crying. My son came home, she was like, why are you crying? My friend died. I was really shocked. But anyway, there are a lot of stories, good stories about Perry. Like I told Teresa, your losses are lost too. He was a good friend, and I miss him a lot too. You know, seeing his picture, it makes me smile, you know, because of the good things we shared during college and now working, you know, at work and all that. So anyway, I'll stop talking because my heart is getting bigger and might explode, but thank you.
Anyone else? Well, thank all of you guys for coming out. I'm sure that he would be pleased in some sort, but I know that he would be honored that all of you guys love him so much, hear so much about him, that we're able to get together as a team. I think that's important, that we support each other, and if you need anything, feel free to reach out. I'm here, and I'll get you what type of support you may need. So, thank you guys. Again, if you didn't get a forget-me-not on your way out, just grab one, they're right by the door, and the handout as well.